I'd give anything. It just at some point in this movie, they have like a battle scene going on, and then Will Smith goes up to one of the soldiers. And come on, you guys know the rest of the joke. You know what I want Will Smith to do next. Emancipation was directed by Antoine Fuqua, and it stars Will Smith in the titular leading role as an escaped slave during the Civil War who joins forces with the Union soldiers in order to fight against slavery and to help others that have been left behind. Along the way, he does discover that not everything's in black and white, and there are people on both sides with many conflicting things that he did not know of. This movie, I feel like, was promoted majorly. It has an uphill climb, however, mainly I think because of the fact, as I made a joke about in the beginning, the incident of the Oscars with Will Smith has soured a lot of people, and a star power's name is one of the main things you need to drive a film, especially with us in the cusp of Oscar season. With that in mind, especially the cusp of Oscar season, that's all this movie is. No offense intended, I did not like this movie very much. This movie is extremely generic. This is the oldest form of Oscar bait that I've ever seen in its most rehashed form. It treads the same territory that we've seen in 101 movies before that are attempting to get the Oscars to look at them. It deliberately puts the star in situations where he can sink his teeth into it and try to get that nomination, but on top of that, despite that it's trying to throw so much in there, it never is fantastic. This movie is okay because it's just nothing new. I am honestly very sorry to have to give this movie a review where I'm not talking about it in a way that is like it's the best thing ever, but if I'm being entirely honest, this movie underwhelmed me more than it should have. This movie lends itself to having a great story. This should be a fantastic film, by all accounts. This is something that, in this current day and age, would resonate if made right, but I feel like it's not doing that because of the fact that it's not doing anything that earns it that. It's just there. It's a movie that's trying to be big. It's trying to be epic. There's nothing behind it. There's no sustenance. There's just things that take place in the movie, and that's it. The script is not very well written. I was not a great fan of the direction, and this movie is horribly inaccurate. As someone who really loves history, I can tell you for sure, when it comes to American history, this is a very inaccurate film, and I'm sure within a month of this coming out, people are going to begin to point out the things that are completely wrong with it. Will Smith's performance is good. He does a very good job, I believe, in here. But again, I feel like we've seen Will Smith better than this before. This movie feels extremely try-hard, even by Will Smith. It's just such a try-hard with not much behind it. It honestly was rather a bit of a snooze fest for me. I was very bored during this movie, and it runs for a very long time, and there's not much color to it. There's not much, to see on screen, other than the battle sequences, which I felt were ridiculous and overdone for the sake of being ridiculous and overdone and trying to be real. This movie is trying to pull tricks out of the hat that make it work. It doesn't do it right, though, because it doesn't know how to access and tap into those things that will help us connect, and it doesn't emotionally resonate with me the way it should. I'm just not very happy with this film. I didn't have a fantastic time with it, and I'm sure there will be a lot of people that will like this movie. For me, it's not something I really liked. I'm not going to recommend going and seeing this movie. I honestly think it's a massive disappointment and completely underwhelming with little to actually justify its existence. It's something that's been rehashed, recooked, and dressed up in a different color in the hopes that maybe, it'll get more money. But don't be fooled by that. Honestly, there's not much, I think, to this film. I'm going to say it's going to be something you should probably skip and enjoy something else this holiday season. I'm going to give Emancipation a 4 out of 10. Thank you guys always so much for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll see y'all next time.